Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today for Srimad Bhagavatam overview of Canto 7, Chapter 9. I wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can learn a little bit more from Prahlad Maharaj, his wonderful prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. So this is a really extraordinary part of the Bhagavatam that we have reached. And this is a very nice verse which we can recite. 10th verse of the 9th chapter.
Vipradvi Sadguna Yutat Aravinda Nabha Padaravinda Vimukhat Sopacham Varistam Manye Tadarpita Manovachanai Tarha Pranam Punati Sakulam Natu Muri Manaha.
If a Brahmana...
Can I read?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. If a Brahman has all 12 of the Brahmanic qualifications, as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but is not devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything: mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than a Brahman because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahman is in a position of false prestige, cannot purify even himself. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So quite a heavy statement, and we'll see the context of this in a minute. And we'll go into a little bit of detail about this. So this chapter is called Prahlad pacifies Lord Nrsingadev with prayers. All the demigods, including even Lakshmi Devi, could not go before the Lord, who was so angry. And they were standing a long distance away from the Lord because they couldn't tolerate his anger. It was so heavy. Lakshmi Devi said, because they urged her, you know your husband, go and pacify him. If anybody can do it, you can. But she says, she'd never seen such a astounding form before. Never seen him so angry. Never seen him like this. Of course, the Lord has unlimited eternal forms in Vaikuntha, and Lakshmi Devi has certainly seen Nrsingadev in his half-man, half-lion form in some previous kalpa. However, the impressions of not having previously seen or heard about this is inspired by Leela Shakti, or the Lord's pastime potency, in order to make her and everybody taste this adbhuta ras, which is the mood of astonishment. So she's made to forget that she's seen this before, so that she can relish this pastime all over again. The Lord's anger could not be appeased even by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. And remember, they had been praying to him. Lord Shiva specifically asked him, please give up your anger now. But he was still fuming. So then Lord Brahma did an amazing thing. He pushed Prahlad forward to meet and pacify his Lord. Oh, I don't have the pictures. I have some really nice pictures, but I forgot to include them in this. See if I can actually, it's just nice to see these pictures. Let me just see if I can find them. This might confuse everything, but oh damn, no, I haven't got it. Okay, no problem. I haven't got the pictures. it from before. Okay, here. Yes, that's it. So this is a really nice picture. This is the one which you can see. There, the devatas. Of course, they were not standing so close. They were actually very, very far away from the Lord. And there's Hiranyakashipu, and Lord Brahma. He encouraged Prahlad, go before the Supreme Lord. Only you have a chance of pacifying him. And then we will see, this is the most amazing picture where Lord Nrsingadev hugs Prahlad Maharaj. It's a most incredible picture. And somehow he's got a garland from somewhere. So this one, he's actually got a garland, Nrsingadev. So, okay, let's see if I can go back to where we were. I know which one is which. This gets so confusing. Okay. So, Nrsingadev's heart melts. Although Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy, he accepted Lord Brahma's words. Now, you can just imagine these great, great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all present. They couldn't pacify the Lord. Even Lakshmi Devi couldn't. And Prahlad, a 5-year-old boy, they were all petrified. But Prahlad, he was not petrified. He gradually proceeded towards the Lord. When Lord Nrsingadev saw the small boy, Prahlad, offering obeisances at his feet, he melted with affection and took him up on his lap. Lord Nrsingadev placed his hand on Prahlad's head, and Prahlad felt ecstatic transformations in his body. By the touch of Lord Nrsingadev's hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlad was completely freed of all material contaminations and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Of course, he didn't have any material contamination or desires. Therefore, he at once became transcendentally situated, his heart filled with love, his eyes with tears. He then fixed his mind and offered prayers to the Lord. This is amazing. Prahlad, born in a demoniac family, he could not understand. He was confused, actually. How could he possibly pray to the Lord, even after all the demigods had prayed? And they were exalted devotees. They'd failed to pacify the Lord. So how can he do it? Now, a Vaishnav, this is a really nice instruction, who is fully qualified to serve the Lord, still thinks himself extremely low, humble, while offering prayers. One should not be falsely proud of his devotee qualifications. Unless one is meek and humble, progress in spiritual life is difficult. We saw this in the example of Srila Prabhupada. He was an extremely capable person. But if we see especially these prayers on the Jaladuta, how they were filled with such humility and submission to the Supreme Lord. So in all his transactions, all his dealings, he was always humble, even when he achieved such incredible success by opening temple after temple. Still, he always remained very humble. This is the qualification. Yet Prahlad feels confident. Because the Lord does not see one's material qualifications, such as wealth. He doesn't look at wealth. There's many examples. Duryodhan was such full of wealth, but he didn't care. Krishna didn't care when he went to Hastinapur. Duryodhan invited him to his palace, but Krishna said, no, it's okay. I'd rather be with Vidur. Vidur had nothing. What are you going to eat at Vidur's house, he said. She's going to feed, Vidurani will feed you some shak and chapati, roti. I've got chapan bhog for you. Krishna said, doesn't matter. I don't like your chapan bhog. I'd rather have Vidurani's shak bhaji. Aristocratic family, again, same example. When he was there, he did not take any entertainment from Dhritarashtra. He simply went to his devotee's place. Or he would go and meet Kunti Mata rather than associate give his company to Dhritarashtra. He doesn't care for beauty. And that example is Kubja in Mathura. She was a hunchback. But Krishna didn't care. He didn't look at her beauty. He didn't look at her lack of beauty, but actually made her beautiful. He doesn't care for austerity. Hiranyakashipu did such great austerities, but Krishna didn't care for it. Nrsimhadev didn't care for it. Education. Don't have to have great education. The elephant Gajendra had no education, yet Vishnu accepted his prayers. Sensory expertise, can't think of an example off the top of my head. Luster, influence, he doesn't care for any of these material qualifications. Physical strength. Jarasandha was so powerful, he could even defeat Bhima if he wanted to. But Krishna favored Bhima and told him how to destroy Jarasandha. Diligence, intelligence, mystic yogic power. So these are all material qualifications. But the Lord does not see material qualifications. What does he see? Simply satisfied with bhakti. And this verse that we read, even a dog eater, devotee, is higher than a non-devotee Brahman. And the example given in the verse is Gajendra, the elephant, was able to please the Lord. So what are these 12 qualifications that was mentioned in that verse of the Brahmins? Let's have a look at that. 12 Brahmanical qualities are knowledge, truthfulness. Right? These are the qualities that a Brahman is known by. So a Brahman who has these qualities is actually, he is dear to the Lord, because he says, Namo Brahmaya Devaya Go Brahmanataya Chajakaditaya Chajakaditaya Govindaya Namanama. Controls his mind, controls his senses. He's always listening about the holy names, glories of the holy names. He's detached from this world. He's also shy, tolerant. He's non-envious. He performs sacrifice, right? He does tapasya. And he gives in charity. Especially he gives his advice. He's peaceful. So these are the qualities of a Brahman. So, but if a Brahman has all of these 12, this is really a phenomenal statement in the Bhagavatam. But he's averse to the lotus feet of the lotus-naveled Lord. He certainly is lower than the devotee who is a dog eater. So this is a really profound statement. So even if one has these Brahmanical qualities, then one is actually Brahman. But if one is against the Supreme Lord, all of this is totally useless. Better to be a devotee who knows nothing than a Brahman who knows all of these 12. Hearing Prahlad say that one who dedicates everything to the Lord is great. So the Lord was hearing these prayers. He's hearing these prayers from Prahlad that one should become dedicated to the Supreme Lord. So then Nrsingadev could have asked the question of Prahlad, am I self-centered that I want everybody's prayers, everybody to be dedicated to me? Am I so self-centered? So in the next section of this verse, Prahlad, he explains, no, the Lord is always glorious. He doesn't need our glorification. Whether the devotee glorifies or not, the Lord is always glorious. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord, the devotee automatically becomes glorious. This is a really nice point. God doesn't need our praise. He's not self-centered. He's not one who requires justification, or he requires this glorification in order to remember how great he is. He is great automatically, but we also become great if we glorify him. But of course, devotee never wants to be great. Devotee simply wants to be a devotee of the Lord. Prahlad's confusion has gone, right? His confusion was that, how can I offer prayers to the Lord when these great demigods have failed to pacify the Lord? But he explained to himself, he preached to himself that actually I can offer prayers, because even if a Brahmin, for example, has all these qualities but is not devotee of the Lord, then what's the use? So his confusion gone. Since the Lord is pleased by bhakti and not by good birth, etc., and since respecting him is beneficial for all, Prahlad decides to praise the Lord's glories without consideration of his mature position. His mature position was very low birth, right? He was a demon, born in a demoniac family, so automatically becomes a demon. But actually he was a devotee. Prahlad desires a devotee association. Prahlad prays as follows. So he continues the prayers. This chapter is full of Prahlad's prayers, and they're really glorious. The demigods are your devotees. So now he's pleading to the Lord. And your pastimes are performed for the protection and prosperity of the universe. Such pastimes are certainly not meant to create a fearful situation for the devotees. But nonetheless, the devotees, being simple and faithful, were afraid of this fierce incarnation. So Prahlad humbly requests the Lord, please give up your anger. This is amazing from a 5-year-old boy. Such fantastic prayers. He prayed that everybody is now happy due to the death of my father. Therefore, you should give up your anger. Prahlad is not afraid, however, of this fierce form of the Lord. Otherwise, he would not have been able to approach the Lord Nrsingadev. Yet, although he's not afraid of Nrsingadev, he's afraid of bad association in this material world. So we can see the impact of bad association. He can destroy one. And we know it, right? Karn was destroyed by a moment's association with Duryodhana. Karn was such a great person, but completely finished by one moment's association with Duryodhana. One moment changed his life completely, from goodness to darkness. So this is the problem with bad association. Prahlad continues his prayers. When will you call me to your lotus feet? So again, the Lord may ask, why serve my feet? You have so much wealth that belongs to your father. Enjoy it. So then Prahlad answers that in material existence, there are sometimes pleasing, but mostly displeasing circumstances. And in respect of these displeasing circumstances, there are many material remedies in this world for suffering. But more often, these remedies are more miserable than the miseries of this world. So we can see that, right? Western medicine, for example. You take a medicine, Naniben, excuse me for saying all this. Take a medicine for something for some disease one has. But that medicine itself causes so many
side effects,
horrible side effects. And we've seen that recently. Who was that person who kept getting, Ketan in fact, he was taking the allopathic medicine and it was making his situation much worse. So they turned to Ayurvedic medicine. That seemed to help. So that's just one crude example. Therefore, Prahlad prays to be engaged in devotional service together with other devotees, in association with other devotees, because this is the only permanent remedy to counteract material miseries. So, and we can see in this world, right? Mother and father can't protect their child, right? Doctor and medicine can't relieve a patient. A boat on the ocean can't protect a drowning man. So in this world, it's full of material miseries. And no matter how hard we try, we're never going to be able to cure those miseries. Thus, one should fully depend on the causeless mercy of the Lord. So this is really phenomenal prayers by Prahlad Maharaj. It really gives good insight into why devotional service is so important. Since all beings and everything are but the energy of the Lord, no one can be free from entanglement unless he takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. In this world, the Lord's representation is time. Prahlad says that he's being crushed by the wheel of time, so he begs shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Time is so strong that even the demigods, they lost their kingdom simply by the movement of his father's eyebrows, right? So Hiranyakashipu, he would simply raise his eyebrows in anger and the devatas would run like heck. But that Hiranyakashipu was destroyed within a moment by Nrsingadev. So ultimately, time is controlled by the Supreme Lord. So what Prahlad Maharaj is saying, that one just takes shelter of the Supreme Lord because he can destroy all inauspiciousness. He can destroy all demoniac mentality and give shelter at his lotus feet. So he gives a good example here. Even the devatas, who are so powerful, simply by movement of my father's eyebrows, they would run away. Yet my father, who was so powerful, you finished him within a moment. So then the Lord might ask, well, what do you want? What do you want? I can give you anything you want. Prahlad prays to reject material pleasures. So this was his prayer in this section of the Bhagavatam chapter. And desire only to be a servant of the pure devotee. So the Lord may again ask him, well, everyone desires enjoyment and power. Why are you rejecting it? So Prahlad, there's an answer for that as well. In this world, yes, everybody wants happiness, but it's like a mirage in the desert, right? It's not really there, this happiness. Prahlad experienced, so then Prahlad gives and his own example here. Prahlad says, I experienced the greatest happiness when you placed your hand on my head. And although the Lord is impartial, he gives benedictions according to the level of one's service. His impartiality is that anyone can serve regardless of material possession. So he's answering so many questions, our questions, Why should we serve the Lord and go away from material happiness, right? So material happiness is just like a mirage. Even if we have it sometimes, it'll disappear very quickly. But the happiness achieved when one is placed at the lotus feet of the Lord, that is the greatest happiness. And anybody can take shelter of his lotus feet. He gives benedictions according to the level of one's service. And nobody is stopped from serving him. This is his impartiality. So Prahlad then he begs for service to his spiritual master Narad Muni, who saved him from falling into material existence. He appreciates how the Lord fulfills the words of his devotees, both in saving himself and in killing Hiranyakashipu. So in killing Hiranyakashipu, the Lord made a promise to the devatas that I'll come, don't worry, I'll destroy this fellow. And fulfilling the words of his devotees, in saving him, Narad Muni had told, right at the beginning when they were trying to kill Prahlad's mother, that you cannot kill him. He's under the protection of the Lord. So the words of his devotee were fulfilled. Yeah, why not? Go ahead, Priyansh. Ah, nice. Very good. Beautiful picture. So, oh, thank you so much. Beautiful picture. Well done. I must include that in the presentations. Okay, so let's carry on. Creation, maintenance, destruction. The Lord, so Prahlad is continuing his prayers. The 5-year-old boy. The Lord exists before creation, during maintenance, and after destruction of the cosmic manifestation. This cosmos is simply the Lord's energy. After annihilation, the Lord appears to sleep in Yoga Nidra. When he awakens from his navel, sprouts a seed which grows into the lotus flower of this universe. Lord Brahma is born, searches for the source of existence, but then performs austerities for hundreds of years. After his austerities, Brahma achieved the success of seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. So Prahlad is just giving little idea of the immense potency of the Supreme Lord. And then he explains, your forms are transcendental. They're untinged by material qualities. You appear as a horse, as Ayagriva. You defeated the demons and delivered the Vedas to Brahma. You appear in so many different incarnations, sometimes as a human, animal sometimes as a great saint like Parshurama, a demigod, a fish, or a tortoise. But in all circumstances, your forms are transcendental, untinged by material qualifications. Yes?
Prabhuji, fish means like Matsya, tortoise means like Kurma.
Good. And human?
And human means like Rama.
Yes. Demigod? Satyaveshavatar, like Narad Muni, he's a devata. So,
Yes, Prabhuji. Pradha Maharaj?
who?
Pitu.
Pitu. Yeah, maybe Pitu.
Not demigod.
No.
No.
He was a king though, yeah. He was a king.
Yes, Prabhuji.
The Lord is known as Tri Yuga. He appears in 3 yugas, right? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. He doesn't appear necessarily in Kali Yoga.
Prabhuji, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Krishna only.
Correct.
Then why is Kali Yuga is also included? Then how can they tell three only?
Because he's hidden. He's hidden in Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, many so-called incarnations appear. So that's why he's called Tri Yuga. He doesn't appear in Kali Yuga, but he comes hidden. So that not everybody claims to be an avatar.
Kalki, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Kalki is just at the end of Kali Yuga, right at the end. But he also comes as Buddha, right? Buddha is also incarnation of the Lord in Kali Yuga. So, but generally he's known as Tri Yuga. Comes in the 3. He appears as he is in those 3 yugas.
Because Chaitanya doesn't come in every Kali Yuga. Only after Krishna appears.
Prahlad then explains the position of the conditioned soul, us, who are bound by materialistic mind and senses. which are like that of a person who has many wives, all trying to attract him in their own way. So these are nice examples, right? We know all these, but it's good to just put them in perspective. The tongue is attracted to palatable dishes, genitals to sex with attractive women, the sense of touch to contact with soft things. The belly, although filled, still wants to eat more. The ear, not attempting to hear about the Lord, is generally attracted to Bollywood. The sense of smell is attracted to yet another side. The restless eyes are attracted to scenes of sense gratification, and the active senses are attracted elsewhere. So these are our problems, right? These senses can really completely destroy us. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, even one of the senses can take away the intelligence of even an intelligent man. Second chapter. So Prahlad is very kind as well. He's not somebody who just is very selfish about his own spiritual progress. He begs mercy for everyone. There are two kinds of Vaishnavas. There's the Bhajananandi. They simply worship the Lord for their own benefit. They want to free themselves from this world. But then there's the Goshtyanandis, who try to elevate all others to Krishna consciousness. Many sages, they go to the Himalayas or to the forest. They avoid association with the mass of people, only thinking of their own salvation. But Prahlad does not want to go back to Godhead alone without bringing everyone else with him. This is the glory of Prahlad. Such a small boy, but yet huge heart. Then there are 10 prescribed methods on the path to liberation. So we can have a quick look at these. Right? So these are prescribed in the Vedas, different types of liberations. Silence, Monrat, making vows, spiritual vows, Vedic knowledge, doing tapasya, studying the Vedic knowledge, scripture study, Varnashram Dharma, following the rules and regulations of the Varnashram system, explaining the scriptures, living alone, right? It's regarded to be one of the prescribed ways, doing japa, being in trance. So these are the 10. These different methods for liberation are generally only a professional practice and a means for livelihood for those who do not conquer their senses. So it's quite, Bhagavatam is quite heavy on this. Because such persons are falsely proud, these procedures may not be successful. Because all of these, what they lack is the prime ingredient, bhakti, devotion to God. If that is missing, then all of this is even useless. Devotees see the Lord present everywhere in the element of his creation, since everything is his energy. Therefore, they use everything in the service of the Lord. And they render 6 kinds of bhakti. So what are they? Offer prayers to the Lord. They dedicate all their activities to the Lord. They worship the Lord. They work on his behalf, right? Preaching is one aspect. And they're always remembering his lotus feet. And they're always hearing about the Lord's glories. So this is what's described by Prahlad Maharaj in this chapter. Nrsingadev becomes pacified. Lord Nrsingadev, he was pacified by Prahlad's prayers. He gave up his anger. And he told Prahlad that one cannot appreciate or understand him, the Lord, without pleasing him. But one who has seen or pleased me has nothing more for which to lament for his own satisfaction. So it's very difficult to please the Lord, but if we manage it somehow, there's nothing else that we need. He is the only person who can fulfill all of one's desires. And he also says to Prahlad, ask something from me. What would you like? I can give you anything you want. And Prahlad says, I don't want anything from you. This is what conquers the Lord. Why does it conquer the Lord? Because he can't do anything about it. He can't entice his devotees to take anything from him. And because he can't do that, he feels defeated. How can I serve you? And the devotee will say, I'm going to serve you. I don't want anything from you. I just want to serve you. I just want to remember you. And this is what actually conquers the Lord. And we saw Prahlad was hugged by Nrsingadev. And at one point, Nrsingadev had tears in his eyes by looking at Prahlad. And Lord Brahma was saying to Lord Shiva, Prahlad's making him cry. See the power of the devotee, 5-year-old little boy. Yet he was so powerful, he could make the Lord cry. He controlled the Lord because of his bhakti. So thank you very much. Any questions, any comments, any thing that you'd like to share that you have heard?
Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Aliman.
Yes. I thought there were 9 types of devotional service.
There is.
This is something different, is it? The 6 types?
Yeah, it's a little different. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, it looks like a little different.
A little bit different. But Prahlad Maharaj himself gave those 9 in the previous, but here now he's just giving perhaps a little different perspective.
Yes.
This is perhaps more rendering 6 kinds of devotional service. See, offering prayers is there, akrur, dedicating all results of surrendering on to him. That's there, Bali Maharaj. Worshipping him, that's Prithu. Working on his behalf. See, that's not in one of the 9. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Always remembering, that's there. Hearing, Shravanam. So most of them are already in there, except that one, working on his behalf. That's not in there. Because working on his behalf, one may still have crazy thoughts in one's head, you know. So it's good to work on behalf of the Lord, but still you may not be completely fixed. So Prahlad doesn't include those as one of the 9, which we always recite. But yeah, he gives a little different perspective here.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So some commentators also say that Lakshmi Devi, she could have pacified Lord Nrsimha because she's living with Nrsimha Dev in that form in his loka, in Nrsimha loka. But she was put into confusion by the Lord because the Lord wanted to glorify his devotee Prahlad.
Yes, good.
So similarly, the same thing happened when Draupadi was being disrobed. The Lord just put everyone in confusion there. Bhishmadev could have counteracted, but the Lord just wanted to glorify his devotees. That's why nobody could pacify the Lord here.
Yeah. That's right. The Lila Shakti took over.
Yeah.
Yes, good point. Nice point. Very nice point. Yes, Vianj, you can share your screen.
Prabhuji, you told Varnashrama Dharma. So means Varnashrama Dharma means this?
Yes, very good. Very good.
Means are this?
Yes, both. Varna and then ashram. This is ashram. Varna is the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Yes. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That's Varna. And then you bring the other slide. That's ashram. The spiritual class divisions. The previous is social. This is spiritual. Then we have the brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. Varna, ashram.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and Prabhupada also.
That's right. Absolutely. Very good. Well done. You're learning fast. Yes, Karuna.
Prabhu, when was the Narasingha Kavach spoken by Prahlad Maharaj? Was it while Prahlad Maharaj was pacifying Narasingha?
That's a good question. I'm not sure of the answer, but it must have been. Yeah, good question. Because it was spoken by him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But when exactly? See, the Bhagavatam just gives a overview, summary, doesn't all the detail.
Probably in the Nrsimha Purana.
Maybe in the Nrsimha Purana he'll explain a little bit more when he spoke it. But it would have been, his prayers are phenomenal prayers. But yeah, good question though.
Yeah.
Good question. And now you've asked it, it's your homework.
Yeah, big to search for it.
Yeah, no, it's it's difficult to know when he would have asked, he would have prayed like that. Interesting question. Yeah, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Anything else? Tomorrow we'll also try to handle one chapter. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get it done yet, but hopefully I'll get it done. Go all night tonight. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
How many chapters are in 7th canto?
7th canto, I think about 15, I think. I can't remember exactly, but 15, I believe. We're about halfway through. Why do you ask?
What, Prabhuji?
Why do you ask?
I want to learn how many chapters are there.
Yeah. I think there's 15. Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just wondering, once we get some time, you know, the Nrsimha Kavach, Karuna Bandra Mataji sings.
Good.
Can we read all the English versions?
Yeah, let's do it
tomorrow.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Oh.
Gives me a little time for 10th chapter then. Fantastic idea, Maji.
Okay, it's just that we hear in Sanskrit, but it'd be nice to listen to the English translation.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Doing Prahlad's prayers, so it's a good time, I think.
It's a great time. Well done.
Perfect.
Well done. And Karuna, would you like to prepare? You can, of course, say the English, but you know, you're welcome to comment on verses as well, if you like.
Okay, Prabhu, I try.
Great.
Hare Krishna.
Great. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's wonderful to hear this pastimes in this chapter. And this Nrsimha Kavach, I just looked up Google and it said Brahmanda Purana. So I don't know if that's from there.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
So I think at the end when Karuna she sings, she says, Iti Brahmanda Purana.
Yes. Good point.
So at the end, I think so. Oh, okay.
Yeah, good point.
Something I learned as well.
Very good.
Yes,
so
that's correct. Prabhuji?
Yes, Naniven.
I've got this English version of Nrsimha Kavacha. And in the end it says, thus ends the Nrsimha Kavach as it is described by Prahlad Maharaj in the Brahmanda Purana, just as Prabhuji told us.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I think Karuna's asked question was, when was it recited? Was it recited in front of Nrsimhadev while he's doing his prayers? It must have been. His prayers are so amazing. Sure. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit would recite almost every day for years and years. They would recite these chapters again and again. They regarded Prahlad Maharaj's prayers so powerful. So, Indaleka Maji, would you like to go through the lessons?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Lessons from the Canto 7. Chapter 1, the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists within the heart of every living being and is prepared to give bhakti yoga to everyone, but one must be capable of receiving it. Chapter 2, since our consciousness can be changed by spiritual education, we simply have to carry out the order of the Supreme Lord to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. Chapter 3, after long austerities and penances, one may obtain mystic powers which eventually are vanquished, but the powers obtained by the mercy of the Lord are never vanquished. Chapter 4, by their pious activities, some souls are promoted to the higher planetary system, thinking only of enjoyment, but it is stated that there is no peace and prosperity in the free worlds without disturbance. Chapter 5, it doesn't always happen that good parents get perfect children or vice versa. Good and great personalities can appear even in the demoniac family. Similarly, demoniac personalities can take birth in the pious families. Chapter 6, as the saying goes, education starts at home. Anyone can start learning from a very tender age where the brain is like sponge and an empty room ready to absorb and retain any acquired knowledge. Chapter 7, if we perform bhakti yoga in relationship with Lord Shri Krishna, we can immediately acquire knowledge and detachment from the world and be situated on the platform of pure religion. You didn't include chapter 8, Prabhuji?
Oh, what
Is
happened?
it next page?
Ah, there you go.
Oh, thank you. Where? Oh, yeah. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind and merciful that he can appear in any form, anywhere, anytime, and any circumstance, just to protect and to keep the word of his pure devotee.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Very good. Very nice. Okay, Madhusan Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. So many instructions actually in this chapter, you know. So it's difficult to pick any particular ones, you know. But I thought this was quite interesting because Prabhupada actually saying how, you know, Prahlad Maharaj, who didn't give any importance to anything in this material world. No one can maintain his body or material achievement forever. A Vaishnava can understand that nothing within this material world, not even that which is powerful, opulent, or influential, can endure. At any time, such things can be vanquished. And who can vanquish them? Of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why he's known as Hari, you know. He wins over everything in the end. And you can see that Hiranyakashipu achieved so much, and yet, you know, he lost everything. But in the purport, Prabhupada further explained how the influence of people like Hitler and Gandhi and all those different influential people, eventually their time gets vanquished, and their influence is completely lost and gone in time. Actually, it does take time, but
I think we just lost Prabhu. I think the connection wasn't so good. Let's just give him a second. Anyway, okay, thank you. There's also some prayers by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We'll talk about those tomorrow as well. We'll go through them. Beautiful prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. To Lord Nrsingadev. Really a phenomenal prayers. Okay, so I'm going to stop.